Hi, I'm the Rolling Reading Queen. My name is Katie, and tonight we'll be reading Shaking Things Up 14 Young Women Who Changed the World. Written by Susan Hood and illustrated by 13 extraordinary women. My sister Bailey is pretty extraordinary, and she got me this book. So thanks, Bailey. You're the best. Okay, so let's get started. So we start with the table of contents, and it has a little intro for us. It says, women and girls have been shaking things up for a long time, resisting those who would box them in. Here are 14 inspiring young rebels, one 6 years old, one just 13, who broke down walls to pursue their interests, talents, and rights. They fought fires, discovered prehistoric animals, circled the globe, braved Nazis, championed sports, changed the way we eat, integrated schools, improved medicine, and reached for the skies. The world is a better place for all of us because they dare to step out of the box. So don't ever let anyone tell you what you should or shouldn't do, can or cannot be. As journalist Nellie Bly once said, if you want to do it, you can do it. I love that. Okay, so let's get started. So we start with this really pretty, amazingly illustrated timeline that will talk about all the different women and girls in this book, starting with Molly Williams in the early 1780s, who was the first female firefighter, and ending in 2014 with girls' education activist Malala Yousafzai. And I'm so excited to learn about these girls and women with you, so let's get started. So, the first one is called Taking the Heat, Molly Williams, first known female firefighter in the United States. And this quote up here says, as good a fire laddie as many of the boys who bragged at being such. I'm sure she was. Years passed. In New York City streets, a blizzard whipped the air. Despite the heavy falling snow, a fire scorched in the square. The steeples clanged the town alarm. Boy runners spread the news, but firemen were sick abed with influenza blues. A local servant knew the drill. She'd seen what must be done. She'd hauled the pumper truck by hand, adept as anyone. In raging flames and choking smoke, brave Molly took the heat. With hose and axe, she met the blaze to save the house and street. The fire laddies gave her praise, respect where it was due, dubbed her Volunteer 11, a member of the crew. She glowed with pride, a pioneer. She blazed a path that's true, yet women weren't hired here until 1982. Oh my God, that is wild. That's wild. Mary, nicknamed Molly Durham Williams, born in 1747 and died in 1821, was an indentured servant of volunteer firefighter James Amar. She knew the duties of the Oceanus Engine Company No. 11 from her time cooking for the men and didn't hesitate to help. There wasn't another female firefighter in New York City until 1982, when Brenda Berkman burned the FDNY with a discrimination lawsuit and won. Wow, that is wild that it took so long for there to be another female firefighter in the U.S. or at the FDNY. That's crazy. And this short story, was illustrated by Shadra Strickland. Really beautiful illustrations and really amazing story. Okay, let's read the next one. Okay. Buried Treasure, Mary Anning, paleontologist. The greatest fossil the world ever knew, Hugh Torrens, British Society for the History of Science. Wow. A jaw, mouth, eye holes, a long skull. What could it be? Mary dug and drilled, uncovering snake stones, layers of limestone, and crocodile teeth. Fossils sold to save her family from starving. Patiently, persistently, she chipped and chiseled the skull, detecting a backbone, blown bare in a storm. Day after day, she carved millions of years melting away, revealing ribs, a spine, etching the earth's past in the cliffs. She worked unearthing fabulous flippers like dolphins and a long tail, an ichthyosaur. Penniless after her father's death, Mary Anning, 1799 to 1847, combed England's coast, selling fossils to tourists. While her brother spotted a skull in 1811, it was 13-year-old Mary who unearthed a prehistoric sea reptile, an ichthyosaur, in 1812. Later, she discovered the first two complete plesiosaurs and a pterosaur, laying the foundation for Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Wow. We hear about Charles Darwin all the time, but we never hear about this woman. That's crazy. How amazing is she, though? That's pretty cool. This art was created by Hadley Hooper. Some more really beautiful art to go with this story. Okay, this next one is called Woman of the World, Nellie Bly, Investigative Journalist. If you want to do it, you can do it. The question is, do you want to do it? You can do whatever you want, whatever you set your mind to. This ace reporter, Nellie Bly, delivered headline news by going undercover in jails, ballets, and zoos. A fearless writer of her day, she righted wrongs along the way. What's next? Young Nellie wondered. A trip like Jules Verne's book, Around the World in 80 Days? No, faster. That's her hook. Her manager poo-pooed her plan. A trip like this would need a man. So Nellie told him, start the man. She'd beat him if she could. The manager looked up and said, yes, I believe you would. Bly hopped a ship and told her tale of all she saw on earth. She wrote of camels, temples, jewels with gutsy wit and mirth. She rode on sampans, rickshaws, trains, through blizzards, heat, and monsoon rains. She talked with geishas, captains, priests. She even met Jules Verne. She brought a little monkey home upon her proud return. Excuse me. The worldwide press sang Nellie's praise. She'd beaten Verne by 8 whole days. Oh my gosh, that's more than a week. That's wild. At 25, young Nellie aced a record-breaking race. No soul on earth had ever sped the globe at such a pace. Oh my gosh, that is really cool. That's amazing. Nellie Bly, 1864 to 1922, was the pen name of Elizabeth Jane Cochrane, who impersonated a mad woman in an asylum, masqueraded as a ballerina, and posed as a thief, all to expose corruption and cruelty in hospitals, theaters, and prisons. She achieved worldwide fame for her race around the globe, clocking in at 72 days, 6 hours, 11 minutes, and 14 seconds. Oh my gosh, wow. Later, in World War I, Nellie went to the front lines, becoming one of the first women war correspondents. Art by Lisa Brown. Wow. That is something. That's fabulous. I can't even imagine what she must have gone through to report the news for the whole world. That's pretty amazing. Okay, this next one is called Turning the Tide. Annette Kellerman, champion athlete and inventor of the modern swimsuit. Interesting. I want to swim, and I can't swim wearing more stuff than you hang on a clothesline. She's right. There once was a mermaid queen, lovely and lightsome and lean, who swam afternoons without pantaloons. Her swimsuit was deemed obscene. The lady was quickly arrested. Unafraid, she calmly protested, "Who can swim 50 laps wearing corsets and caps?" Her statement could not be contested. She streamlined the suit of the day and invented our water ballet. By changing the fashions, she fueled swimming passions as women made waves in the spray. Wow. Could you wear all those clothes while you swim? I couldn't. That would be way too much. Australian Annette Kellerman, 1886 to 1975, wore braces on her legs as a child, possibly due to rickets. Wow, that's really interesting. She was disabled. Her doctor suggested swimming to strengthen her leg muscles. She went on to win world records, perform daredevil diving stunts, and star in silent films, popularizing a new one-piece bathing suit and ushering in a new age of athleticism for women. Art by Emily Winfield Martin. Wow, that is really cool. I swam for 10 years competitively on a disabled swimming team and non-disabled, and I had never heard of this woman until just now. So, wow, that's crazy to think about. She did a lot for the world. Okay, this next one is called Storyteller. It's about Piora Belpre, children's author and first Latina librarian at the New York Public Library. Okay, that's awesome. I wish to be like Johnny Appleseed, to plant my story seeds across the land, she said. That is really cool. And she did. Okay. Oh, this is an acrostic poem with the alphabet. A, author, amiga. B, bilingual book buyer. C, community champion for children. D, defender of the downtrodden. E, empowering educator. F, folklorist, fairy tale teller. G, grower of gifts. H, Harlem history maker. I, inner city innovator. J, joyful Johnny Appleseed. K, known for Perez y Martina. L, legendary Latina librarian. M, multicultural mosaic maker. N, New York narrator for niños. O, outgoing organizer. P, Puerto Rican puppeteer. Q, Garita. R, role model. S, Spanish story seed sower. T, trilingual translator. U, uplifter of the underprivileged. V, voice of the voiceless. W, weaver of wonder. X, expert in Espanol. Y, young at heart. And Z, zealot. Piora Belpre, 1899 to 1982, revolutionized New York City by enticing Spanish-speaking communities inside the previously English-only libraries. She bought Spanish books and conducted bilingual story hours and celebrated Hispanic traditions. When she couldn't find Spanish tales on the shelves, she wrote them herself, publishing many children's books. Art by Sarah Palacios. Wow, that is so cool. For those of you that don't know, I am also a teacher of English language learners when I'm not doing this lovely YouTube channel. So this is really interesting to learn about this woman and her work as a librarian and author and how she helped those who didn't speak English still get access to books. That's so important. This next one is called Broken, and it's about Frida Kahlo, who was an artist. I love her. I always have. I am broken, but I am happy to be alive as long as I can paint. Frida Kahlo. Broken from polio at age 6, from a withered foot, childhood bullies shouting, Frida pata de palo, Frida peg leg. Broken again from a bus accident when she was 18, spine, collarbone, pelvis, ribs, leg, and foot smashed. Confined to bed in a full-body cast. With an easel on her lap and a mirror above her bed, Frida painted self-portraits. I am the subject I know best, she said. She breathed in the colors, handicrafts, carvings, clothing of her homeland, Mexican, Aztec, Mayan. Art flowed from her fingertips, paintings of skulls, skeletons, stags, flowers, fantasy, fragility. Surrealism is the stuff of dreams and nightmares, but Frida said, quote, I paint my own reality, end quote. Mexico, misfortune, monkeys, misery, marriage, Diego Rivera, politics, parrots, passion, pain. Frailty, thy name is woman, wrote Shakespeare, an idea echoing through the ages, yet Frida embodied strength despite her pain, achieving fame and worldwide acclaim. She was really incredible. There's also a rumor that she had spina bifida, like I have, which is really fascinating. Frida Kahlo, 1907 to 1954. Born Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderon, originally wanted to become a doctor, but ill health led to painting. She grew to become a cultural icon and a world-famous artist, the first 20th century Mexican artist to sell a painting to the Louvre Museum in Paris. Today, her paintings sell for more than $15 million each. Wow, that is crazy. I've seen some of her art in DC at the museums. It's beautiful. It's amazing to see it up close. This art was created by Aaron K. Robinson. It's also very beautiful. Secret Agent Sisters, Jacqueline Nairn, undercover operative, and Eileen Nairn, wireless operator. Things Jacqueline carried. Number 1, shovel to bury the parachute. Number 2, emergency rations. Number 3, flashlight. Number 4, compass. Number 5, pistol. Number 6, bandages. Number 7, handbag and French francs. Number 8, fake identity papers. Number 9, knitting. And number 10, lipstick with secret compartment. Ooh, that is really interesting. One of the best we have had, Maurice Buckmaster, SOE. Let's start the poem. Down, 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 Jacqueline pulls the ripcord, a blind drop into Nazi-occupied France of 1943. Codename, designer. Her job, courier. Secret messages, some in invisible ink. She's prepared to swallow them if caught. All the enemy sees is a lady with her knitting, hardly guessing there are radio parts in her makeup bag. She connects farmers, shop girls, bakers, all members of the resistance who stockpile supplies, weapons, cash, sabotage railways and factories till the Americans arrive, till D-Day is near. 14 months later, unbeknownst to Jacqueline, her younger sister Eileen, just 22, flies into France in the dark of night, into a life in the shadows, codename Rose. Her job, wireless operator in Paris's Wizard network. Tap, tap, tapping Morse code to London, more than 100 messages sent. But look out, her transmitter is discovered. Jacqueline hears rumors of Eileen's arrest by the Gestapo, but nothing more. Is she alive? Then, news of Eileen's escape from a prison camp. Sisterhood survives. It was a life in the shadows, but I was suited for it. After the war, I missed it. Eileen Nairn. Wow. Brave British sisters, Jacqueline Nairn, 1916 to 1982, and Eileen Nairn, 1921 to 2010, grew up in France and spoke flawless French. A sought-after talent for an SOE, Special Operations Executive, agent during World War II. Both were awarded France's prestigious Croix de Guerre medal and England's Member of the Order of the British Empire medal for their heroism. Art by Sophie Blackhall. That's so incredible. That's really amazing that both sisters were able to do so much for the world and have really kind of secret lives. No one really knew. That's really amazing. Full circle. Frances Moore Lappé, anti-hunger activist. Diet for a small planet. That's what that says right here. She says, every choice we make can be a celebration of the world we want. I love that. Here's the poem. This is the earth that Lappé dreamed. The woman who wrote Eat More Greens, Broccoli, Lettuce, Squash, and Beans, who built a diet of veggie cuisine that keeps our bodies strong and lean, that stops the wasteful meat machine, that feeds a local food routine, that saves the cost of gasoline, that keeps Earth's soil and water clean, that helps the hungry grow more beans, cabbage, kale, and collard greens. This is the Earth that Lepe dreamed. Frances Moore Lepe, born 1944, was 27 when she wrote Hunger is Human Made. She proved it takes 2,500 gallons of water and 16 pounds of grain to produce 1 pound of steak. So the world's grain is going to feed cattle, not people. Her book, Diet for a Small Planet, said if we eat local, mostly plants, we can be healthier, prevent world hunger, and help save the earth. Wow. That's amazing to think about, that if we just ate a little bit differently and had access to better food choices and healthier food choices, we could eliminate hunger in our world. There's too many people in this world who go hungry, and that's really scary and awful. This art is created by Melissa Sweet. It's beautiful. A New School, Ruby Bridges, Civil Rights Pioneer. Kids know nothing about racism. It's adults who pass it on to kids. That is very true. Ruby Bridges is actually the little black girl on the cover of the book, of this book, called Shaking Things Up. Let's learn about her. Ruby had a new school, William Frantz. Mama wanted the very best. But who were those men with badges? Ruby wasn't sure. Screaming masses flanked the school, men and women holding signs. Perhaps a parade for Mardi Gras? Ruby wasn't sure. One marshal said, "Don't look back." Was that a gun at his side? Just what did segregation mean? Ruby wasn't sure. Why did the grown-ups point at her and pull their kids from school? Why were they all so upset? Ruby wasn't sure. Why did she and Mama sit all day in the office by themselves? Had she done something wrong? Ruby wasn't sure. Ruby was banned from the lunchroom, banned from recess every day. Why did her daddy call her brave? Ruby wasn't sure. She spent first grade with Mrs. Henry in a classroom just for one. Where were the other children? Ruby wasn't sure. But Ruby never missed a day with her teacher by her side. Two heroines stood hand in hand, their bond a bridge for shore. Ruby Bridges, born in 1954, was just 6 years old when, escorted by 4 U.S. Marshals, she marched into an all-white school in New Orleans and became an icon of the civil rights movement. Only one teacher agreed to take her as a student, so Ruby and Barbara Henry spent first grade together in a class of one, reading, spelling, singing songs, and doing jumping jacks. In the fight to end segregation, little Ruby led the way. Art by Oge Mora. Wow. I remember learning about Ruby Bridges when I was a little girl, about 6 years old, probably. For those of you that don't know, segregation means to have white people and black people separated, which is unlawful now and awful and very sad. And it's not okay. It's racist. So this little girl was the first black girl to go to an all-white school, and that was a big deal. And it really wasn't that long ago. She's only 65 today, which is nuts that so recently this could have not happened. This was not a long time ago that this occurred, and it was huge. It was in the news. People were super upset about it. Kids were taken out of schools by their parents because the parents didn't want their children to go to school with a black girl. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. This next one is called Liftoff. It's about Mae Jemison, the first female African-American astronaut. Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. I like that. That's great. An African proverb says, "No one shows a child the sky." No need. Head back, it's there in her eyes. Glittering stars, swirling galaxies fill her, thrill her. Even her kindergarten teacher says, "You want to be a scientist? Don't you mean a nurse?" Even though she's a scaredy cat, afraid of the dark, she looks up. Afraid of heights, she looks down. She skins her shins and muddies her dress because she needs to know. A Wrinkle in Time and Star Trek's Uhura say women can be scientists, even rocket scientists. Ignition. All systems are go. 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Mae Jemison, born 1956, was irritated that there were no women astronauts. She skipped 7th grade, started high school at age 12, later earned a degree in medicine, and in 1987 was chosen for NASA's space program. When the Space Shuttle Endeavour launched in 1992, she was one of 7 astronauts aboard. Art by Isabel Roxas. Wow. That is really cool. That is really, really cool that she was the first Black female astronaut. That's amazing. She was told as a child, no, you should be a nurse instead, which is a great profession, but she wanted to be an astronaut. That is really incredible that she stuck to her guns and she achieved her goals. This next one is called A New Vision. It's about Maya Lin, architect and sculptor. She says, "To fly, we have to have resistance." In 1981, entry number 1026 won a competition to build a memorial to the fallen soldiers of Vietnam, a controversial 20-year war where so many had died. When Maya Lin's name was revealed, some were outraged that someone so young, just 21, someone Asian American, someone female, had bested the best architects to honor men killed in Vietnam in a war we had not won. Maya's design was not perched high on a pedestal, but carved into the ground, a long walk down into the earth and then back out again. I imagine taking a knife and cutting into the earth, she said. Like war, it would create a wound that would heal with time but leave a scar. Maya's design showed not a face or two, but more than 58,000 names, spelling out one by one just how many were lost. It was not made of traditional, pure white marble, but black as night granite. Maya Lin knew that, polished to a high shine, black granite is a mirror for those who have come to reflect, those present who gaze into the past. After all, what should a war memorial do? Unearth memory, make us cry, see ourselves, and then lead us back up into hope, into the light. I've seen this. It's in Washington, D.C., and it's beautiful. It's really interesting to learn about the woman who made it. Maya Lin, born in 1959, won the blind design competition unanimously, despite the 1,441 entries that had included the work of top architects. But when Lin's heritage, age, and gender were revealed, she had to appear before Congress to defend her vision. Wow. So if she had been a man, a white man probably, it wouldn't have been an issue, but because she was Asian and a woman, people didn't like that. And she was young, too. Today, her memorial is visited by more than 3 million people each year. Wow. It's very beautiful. Art by Julie Morstad, which is also really beautiful. Okay. This next one is called Break It Down. It's about Angela Zhang, who is a scientist and cancer researcher. She says, failure is just an opportunity in disguise. You learn so much more from your failures than anything else. I like that. It's important to remember. Science, my friend, I grew up with you. When I was 5, you were a Harry Potter potion kit. I'd break flowers and leaves to mix in beakers with colored powders. When I was 7, you were my daddy's questions. Why is a manhole cover round? Why do we see rainbows after it rains? I don't know, wasn't an answer. But I don't know, wasn't an answer. He taught me to break down questions, to chip away at the black boxes of life. When I was 14, I needed a lab and tools my high school didn't have. I wrote to college professors, whittling away at a wall of no, 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 till one at Stanford said, maybe if you pass my test. The catch? Homework. Scientific papers to read. I highlighted the words I didn't know, all but the prepositions. Then I remembered, break it down. I dissected the papers word by word. When I was 15, success, I passed the test. At Stanford, I chipped away at the biggest black box of all, a cure for cancer. Science, you are both stone and chisel, and I, your willing apprentice, yearned to carve away life's mysteries as a sculptor chisels marble to find beauty inside. Wow. She was only 15 when she did this. That's incredible. Angela Zhang, born 1994, oh my gosh, she's younger than I am, invented a nanoparticle that can detect cancer cells and deliver medicine without harming healthy cells. At age 17, her work won her $100,000 in the 2011-2012 Simons Competition in Math, Science, and Technology, and a trip to the White House in 2012. Wow! That is amazing. I'm excited to see what else she'll do with her talents and her smarts. This art is created by Luan Pham. This next one is called Books, Not Bullets. It's about Malala Yousafzai, youngest winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. She says, there's a moment when you have to choose whether to be silent or to stand up. She had been shot. The bullet went in her left eye and out her left shoulder. Flown to safety in England, Malala couldn't forget the beatings, bodies, and bombs back in her Paradise Valley of Pakistan. Her beloved school, closed for girls. Malala had spoken out. Just 11, she wrote a blog for the BBC. They are misusing the name of Islam, she said. Don't they know the first word of the Holy Quran is read? Her mother feared for her life. The Taliban don't kill children, they said. They were wrong. The gunman stopped her school bus and asked for her by name. He fired 3 bullets. One hit its mark. The news ricocheted around the world, but only her fear died that day. She said strength, power, and courage were born. I am those 66 million girls who are deprived of education. Pens, not weapons, she preached. Books, not bullets. The world heard and bestowed upon her its highest honor, the Nobel Peace Prize. Malala, one young girl who stood up. One voice that would not be silenced. She can change the world. She's amazing. I read her book that she wrote, and it's incredible. She's an amazing young woman. She actually just graduated from Oxford about a week ago. So congrats, Malala. Malala Yousafzai, born in 1997, shared the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize with Kailash Satyarthi from India. She will use the $500,000 prize to build secondary schools in Pakistan. In 2017, she launched the Gulmakhai Network, named her Gul Mackay, the pen name she used on her BBC blog. It pledges up to $10 million a year to support girls' education in developing countries such as Afghanistan, Lebanon, Nigeria, Pakistan, and Turkey. That's incredible. She's an amazing, amazing woman. This art is created by Selena Alco. It's really beautiful. So that was the last short story. We're going to quickly read this author's note, and then I will send you on your way. The author's note says, "Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations," said astronaut Mae Jemison. Over the years, politics, religion, and polite society have tried to define what a woman should be, tried to restrict our behavior, speech, rights, aspirations, and even choice of clothing. But women have faced adversity head on, defying poverty, illness, war, and discrimination to change the world for men and women alike. Choosing 14 movers and shakers in this book was the hardest part of the project, a good problem to have, and this is by no means an all-inclusive list. With young readers in mind, I decided to focus on girls and young women, a few well-known, some little-known, and a couple mostly unknown as yet. I chose a firefighter, an astronaut, a painter, and 2 secret agents, among others, who have stirred the pot and shaken up stereotypes, all to better the world. Researching their stories, I was sometimes aghast at what they had to endure, but I was always in awe of their against all odds achievements. Take Mary Anning, who was 11 when her father died, leaving her family deeply in debt and close to starving. She earned money the only way she knew how, selling seaside fossils to British tourists. When she discovered an ichthyosaur at age 13 and later unearthed plesiosaurs and a pterosaur, Mary helped split scientific theory wide open. Her groundbreaking finds helped pave the way for Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species, published 47 years later in a brand new science, paleontology. Activist Frances Moore Lappé said, "Every choice we make can be a celebration of the world we want." That's why I chose to write this book, to celebrate the world I want for my daughters, my new granddaughter, and all the young girls and boys out there. I could have never guessed how much joy I would discover along the way. Susan Hood. This is a gorgeous book, such an important book too, and I am so glad that we got to read it tonight. And so thankful for my sister for buying it for me. So thanks again, Bailey. You're the best. Also, if you get this book at home, you can look in the back and it gives you sources, books, websites, and more. So you can learn more about these women and what they did for the world and what they continue to do, which is pretty awesome. It's always good to keep learning. Yeah, there's several pages of resources here. That's great. And then the acknowledgments. Okay, so thank you for listening. I know this video was slightly longer than my others, but I hope you enjoyed Shaking Things Up, 14 Young Women Who Changed the World by Susan Hood and illustrated by 13 extraordinary women. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I think it's a gorgeous, beautiful, very important book, and I hope you feel the same way. So I will talk to you soon and see you next week. Thanks. Have a great week. Bye-bye.